Hey everyone, welcome to Break It Yourself. Today we're taking a look at the Treasure Garden. This is the 13-foot octagonal cantilever umbrella. This thing is absolutely awesome, provides tons of shade. One of my favorite things about it is that it is very easy to set up and to take down. I ordered mine from All Things BBQ and they included the cover, which is great. Maybe I'll put a timer here showing like how long this actually takes. It's not very long at all. Also, you have this foot pedal here, which allows you to spin it 360 degrees, and I'll get into the mounts later. But there are different mounting options as well. You can see this coming right along. Look at that, beautiful. So I'm gonna step on this, I'm gonna swivel it around, hopefully not block the camera here. I'm also gonna lift it up a little bit higher. Keep swiveling, that looks good. There we go, there you have it. Pretty quick to get shade really wherever you want it. This thing is not cheap. The umbrella alone is $1,399. So for all intents and purposes, it's $1,400 just for this umbrella. And that doesn't include your mounting options, which we will get into. So you might say, wow, how could that ever be worth it? And in this space that we had here, we were coming from a place of, we used to have those solar sails hanging up. They're much cheaper. And if your space allows for that, absolutely, I think that is a great option. For us, there was a few things. Not great mounting points, not really enough shade that we were able to get. And also, whenever it got really windy, we would need to take them down, which was a little bit of a hassle because we put these 4x4s in the ground and we were kind of climbing up a ladder, unhooking them and whatnot. And it just wasn't a great, convenient solution. It was a pretty good solution, but it was not nearly as convenient as just being able to take this down, pop it back up, and then in case of a hurricane, you also can unscrew this from the base and lay it down somewhere with no issue. But really your general storms, the takedown is gonna be about a minute, putting it back up about a minute, which is way faster than where we were coming from with the solar sail. Now still, it is extremely expensive. But for us, we wanted to test it out, and so far, I think it actually has kind of been worth it for what we're able to do in this area we have in the backyard with the shade and with the speed of use. Now there is an 11-foot version as well. This is the 13-foot version. They have an 11-foot version. They also make all kinds of different umbrellas as well, but this specifically is that cantilever umbrella, so it's wide open underneath here, which is great. You have no pull except for the one on the side there. They also make the frames in different colors. We have the bronze color, and they also have black, and I think there's another one out there that looks more just like a metal color. The umbrella itself, there's tons of different options to choose from. We were looking on All Things BBQ's website, and so they had some options to pick from, and depending on the grade of the material that you get, that also affects the price heavily. So my understanding was there is C, the letter C grade, and there's A grade. So we went with C grade because that kept the price at that $1,400. The A grade material could bump it all the way up to $1,800, $1,900, and that was just a bit too much for us. And from our research, it looked like the C grade material had a 4-year warranty, the A grade material had a 5-year warranty. If you know more info about the material, please let me know. I'm definitely open to learn, but at least in my research, that's what I found. It seems like we're becoming more of like a outdoor living style channel these days, putting up a ton of content about chairs and fire pits and whatnot, but I did review Polywood chairs as well as Brio, their new chair that came out. So if you're interested in outdoor furniture, what I think is the best outdoor furniture, go ahead and check that out. There are 5 mounting styles for this cantilever umbrella. The most expensive is they're gonna have a mount that is on wheels that you can put this thing in and you could actually move it around. Now it is very expensive and it's gonna weigh in about 400 pounds that you're gonna fill with, I believe, either water or sand. They have essentially the same looking option, but it's just not on wheels, and it's about half the price of that. Still about $400, and also gonna weigh in 400 pounds. That option seems interesting to me because they have these 4 different, it looks like, canisters that you're filling with sand or water. And so you could break it down into 100-pound sections and potentially move it around. Not gonna be that easy, obviously not as easy as the one that's wheeled, but you could still theoretically move it maybe a little bit easier. Then they have 3 other pretty much permanent mounting options. So you're gonna have your in-ground, which is you're gonna actually dig a hole, pour some concrete, put this mount into it. You're gonna have your concrete mount, which is, let's say you've already got a patio or something, and then you're gonna put in anchor bolts and mount this plate. And then you have a deck mounting option, which is the one that we got as well. Something to note on the concrete mount, they want your concrete to at least be 6 inches thick. That might be an issue for some people out there because typically, maybe in my area, I'm in Southeast Louisiana, the only things that are spec'd to be 6 inches are usually the driveway apron. And then past that, contractors can get away with 4 inches. So I just want to point that out, that you may not have 6-inch thick concrete for your patio, or you might. So go ahead and maybe dig down a little bit and see if you can tell how thick that patio is. I know that most of the concrete around my home is 4 inches, so I will not be mounting this into the patio. If I were to mount it in concrete, I would probably dig a hole, do the whole concrete thing, which I really didn't want to do. So I went with the deck option. Couple notes about the deck option. I would not trust it just putting it on top of deck boards. I made sure that my mount, those deck boards, 1, were screwed in, and then 2, underneath the deck boards, I added a 2x6 as additional bracing, and then ran that to the actual structure of the deck, and then screwed that in as well. So there still is a good bit of flex in that mount just because you have so much weight in that big cantilever arm of the umbrella. It does move a few inches here and there, but overall pretty stable. The deck option is also one of the cheaper options. The deck, the concrete, and the in-ground, all about the same price, all gonna run you about $100. So even if you spend that $1,400 on the umbrella, you're at a minimum gonna have to spend another $100 to get a mount for this thing. If you're finding this video helpful, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Helps a ton, as well as subscribe. We're quickly approaching 50,000 subscribers, and to celebrate, we're giving away free merch. If you would like some free merch, just DM me on Instagram or send a self-addressed envelope to the P.O. box listed in the description. All right, so let's get into the pros about this thing, because I really do think it is fantastic. So like I showed in the initial setup, with that foot pedal, you can swivel this umbrella 360 degrees around the mount, which is great. Obviously, you can't have obstructions or anything. The umbrella itself sets up in seconds, takes down in seconds, which is awesome. Additionally, this umbrella can swivel in 2 directions. So it can swivel in towards itself, so it can lower towards itself, and then from side to side, it can also swivel as well. So you can do these kind of compound bends and stuff to try to get the maximum amount of shade on the ground, which is awesome. So as the sun is setting over here, we can really tilt this umbrella, and so it's almost like, what, 54 degrees tilt is what we can get on this thing. So it's applying a ton of shade towards the house and on the deck. Really nothing overhead, but it's really blocking that sun. That was some things that were really pros to us, because with the solar sails, they're stuck in that position, and that's it. In the heat of the day, we've set up a little pool for my daughter out in the grass. We just swivel the umbrella out over the grass, boom, it's in the shade. So we really like how you can kind of move it around a good bit, and that's been a huge pro. So I'm gonna say the 2 axes are front to back and then side to side. So it does not have the ability to tilt down in the front. It can just tilt down back towards the actual pole itself, and then it can go from side to side. So on the side to side, in reference to this pole, it can be 18 degrees, 36 degrees, or 54 degrees. Let me check those numbers. Yeah, I got them right. 18, 36, 54. And it can be that in either direction. So it can swivel to the right and it can swivel to the left as well. And there are these little notches. It's very easy to do, very easy to swivel this thing. Again, it takes seconds to adjust it. Now, I will link to the website and you can see all the dimensions that you could ever care about, but generally speaking, from the ground to the umbrella is 7.5 feet, and that's going to segue us into some of the negatives. I do wish it was just slightly taller. 7.5 feet is great. No one's going to hit their head. I would like maybe just a little bit more height. I have thought, of course, you could raise the mount as well, so I thought about building a little pedestal. We'll see if I get around to that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not, but I do wish the height was just a little bit taller. Another huge con is that there is no wind rating for this thing. Everywhere I've looked, I have not been able to find a wind rating. And being cantilevered, also mounted on the deck, this thing with a gust of wind probably would not do very well. Now, I've gotten 10, 15 mile an hour winds and it's handled it no problems. It is vented, so the wind kind of does pass through. But if you tilt this thing, I would just be very careful. I'd be very cautious. If you live in a super windy area, I would consider maybe something different than this. That being said, the wind that I have seen, it handled it no problem, but I just don't think anything like above 15 miles an hour, you're probably gonna not want this thing open. Generally, we are huge fans and we're thinking of saving up and then maybe sometime next year getting a second one to try to cover more of our deck. We're very happy with this and how it works, and really I cannot state enough the convenience of opening it and adjusting it is just second to none. It really is awesome, especially coming from the solar sails where we were not being able to move them around and whatnot. So we are big fans. If you have any feedback or if you've used Treasury Garden before or know more about this brand, please let me know. I'm eager to learn. This is kind of our first look at this cantilevered umbrella. Again, we love it and we just wanted to show you more about it. Thank you so much for watching Break It Yourself. As always, don't forget to thumbs me up and we will see you next time.